If you're tired of losing to the same glitch plays in Madden 26 and feel like there's nothing you can do, this is going to be the perfect video for you. In this video, I'm breaking down 5 Madden 26 defense tips that will have you dominating and locking down in your next game. I just used these 5 tips to allow 0 points in my last CFM game. I know the same thing will happen for you so long as you take heed to everything and don't skip out on any of them. Let's jump right into it. First, I want to break down the best ways to switch stick here in Madden 26. Not enough players are switch sticking right now, and it's really costing your defense. Let me break it down. Alright, so first we're going to come into any zone coverage play. It really doesn't matter. I'm going to have them in a random pass play here. And with the most important thing with the switch stick is recognizing their route concept right off the snap to determine where you need to go with your switch stick. So I'm going to take the snap right here again. I don't really know what play they're going to be calling, but that's the point. I'm just trying to get a good feel for, okay, what play are they calling right off the snap, and then where do I need to go with my user to actually switch stick. Now, it's nice to have anticipation, right, when in formation recognition so that you're not basically clueless when they call a formation. Like if you play against Bunch X Nasty, they bring that guy in motion, you know, we ask you shall receive, I guess, right, that you run Bunch X Nasty, and they bring 16 in motion, well now you probably know it's motion cross post, right, and you know that where you need to probably be with your user, but regardless, you have to be ready to go regardless of the play that they call. Like they have a return route, you got to come down and guard that. It's easier said than done. It takes a lot of practice, and you're not going to get it right every single play, but it's like you're just trying to make it really tough for the offense. Like you're just able to see where they have a crosser on the field, and so I'm going to come down and take that away. And so you just basically don't want there to be any openings, right? And so it's like, if you can get one switch stick interception a game, right, and you mess up like a lot of the other plays, like, I mean, that's a turnover, right? So a lot of time it only takes one turnover to be able to win games here in Madden 26. So that's where it's like with the switch stick, it's high risk, high reward every single play, but you're still, if you like kind of master it and get good with it, it's not going to be as high of a risk. Now, the way that you're going to get better with it is you can do the drill that I was just doing, but you can also spy off the pass rush, hook up a second controller, and then really make sure that you're defending everything, because what you're going to see right here is I'm just going to eventually try to defend their route bounces. Like eventually these guys are going to stop running. I'm going to have to defend these route bounces, and virtually you don't want them to throw anything. You don't want them to be able to throw any possible opening when these guys start route bouncing, so you're just switching. Now eventually when these guys kind of stop running is when you throw the ball away there, but that's really the best way that you're going to improve your right stick switch stick is actually just by spying off the pass rush and practice mode and really doing a good job of getting back into coverage and, you know, defending these route bounds. See the crosser, guard it, see the backside dig. Like this is an example of textbook switch stick here, right? And so you can never defend every blade of grass, but the difference is, like, this is the computer, right? A user player is going to miss reads, and so you just have to take away their obvious reads. And again, the better they are, the less likely they are to miss reads at all, but it's like you're just trying to make it tough on them every play. And honestly, when you prove that you're a good switch stick player, it's like they hesitate a lot more to throw passes, right? They don't want to just throw stuff because they feel like you can switch stick onto it at the last second. So really that's the first way to switch stick here, but the second way is going to be using the D-pad. And so really where this is the most useful is, again, if we put them in just any regular formation, when you're like overload blitzing them, right? So you're going to shift your D-line to the left, you're going to drop your outside linebacker into a curl flat, and then you are going to, boom, take the snap and D-pad switch stick out here and take that away just like that. So again, you're dropping your man into a curl flat. This is from Mike Boy 0 here, and then you're just going to press the D-pad to the right to D-pad switch stick onto this guy. Then that's going to create this 4-on-3 advantage here in the middle, and then you're going to come in completely free off the edge. So that's really the name of the game, is by utilizing the D-pad switch stick to make your blitzes better. Because again, if I tried to switch stick with the right stick, you just see I'm whiffing, right? The blitz still came in there. That's not going to happen very often, but it's like if you're not using the D-pad to switch stick in that case, when your man is blitzing, like you can't switch it with the right stick when your guy's in a blitz assignment. You have to use the D-pad, and so that's exactly what I did right there, where again, boom, take it, stand in the right spot, D-pad switch it, create the advantage, and then we're able to come in completely untouched while still being back into coverage. So Really, that's the complete guide to switch sticking. If you're trying to go from a coverage player to a coverage player, you can use the right stick. If you're trying to go from a blitzer to a coverage player, then you need to use the D-pad. And again, the D-pad switch stick is the best when you're combining with an overload blitz like this one, Mike Blitz 0, because you're going to get the best of both worlds. Being able to use a rush in to get quick pressure and being back over the middle of the field to lurk with your user. All right, another question that too many players I coach every day have questions about is, BLT, what are the best zone drop settings to use? Let me break down what zone drops actually do and where you should have them set to. Alright, so like I said, too many players don't really actually know what zone drops do, and they're just kind of setting them mindlessly from hearing it from other people, but they don't know what they actually do. So if that's you, make sure you're paying attention, because I'm going to break down exactly what they mean and what they do. So, zone drop flats. These are going to control your hard flats, cloud flats, and soft squats. So these are going to be your light blue zones. So you have Boca Blitz 2, you have Tampa 2, you have, let's see, some other plays from other formations here. You have nickel 2 trap, where these light blue zones, so not these, dark blue zones, the deep halves, right, the deep zones. I'm talking about these light blue zones, normally going to be your cornerbacks, so your outside corners. Those are going to be what your zone drop flats control, all right? So normally when they're on default, they're going to drop to 15 or 20 yards. But then when you can set them, you're controlling exactly where they're going to play. All right. Next, we have zone drop curl flat. So these are going to be your purple zones. So you see how you have these slot corners and safeties in these purple zones in cover 3 match, in cover 4 palms, in overload 3 press, cover 4 quarters. So there's a lot of different defenses that are going to have these purple zones. Sometimes they're like these pink kind of zones. Sometimes they're like dark purple. Regardless, those are all going to be controlled by your curl flats. So again, if you set your curl flats to 5, it doesn't matter if you have a seam flat, a curl flat, or a quarter flat, they're all going to drop to 5 yards, because that's where you have them set in your zone drops, all right? And then the last one here is going to be zone drop hooks. So these are going to be your hook curl, 3-rec hook, mid-read, and vert hook. So pretty much every zone defense, and even some man defenses, have hook zones. So you see how cover 9, hot blitz 3, cover 3 buzz, linebacker cross 3 show 2, cover 1 Robert press, like all of these different defenses are going to have these gray/yellow zones when you look at your play art, and so those are going to all be controlled by your zone drop hooks. All right, so again, if you set them to 5 or 10 or 15, that's going to control any of these 4 zones. So it doesn't matter if you have a hook zone and a mid-read, 2 different zones, they're both going to drop back to 15 yards because you have your hook zone set to 15. So really, that's the walkthrough. And then the last thing that I would say about, the zone drops here is there's going to be plays, for example, like Tampa 2 drop. This play only has blue zones and yellow zones. So it only has hooks and flats. It doesn't have any curl flats. So too many players I see, they put their curl flats on like 25 yards, thinking that now their flats are going to drop back to 25 yards. But no, you still have your blue zones on default. There's no purple zones on the field for this coverage. So unless you put them there, like now I put one on the field, but by default, it's like you're just going to be dropping to the default 15 yards here. So if you want maximum control over where your zone drops are dropping to, make sure you have them set in your zone drops, but whatever play you call actually has that specific zone. So again, cover 3 match doesn't have any flat zones. It only has curl flats and hooks, right? Tampa 2 only has flats and hooks. It doesn't have any curl flats. So again, go through and really make sure that you're understanding that, because if you miss that, you're going to set your zone drops thinking they're dropping to one place, but they're actually not going to be dropping anywhere. And then the last thing that I would say is you can just put your curl flats on 5 to stop underneath passes. That's something that too many players really don't understand. Again, because I'm calling a cover 3 defense, I have curl flats on the field. Look at my play art. I have those set to 5, so they're going to drop to 5 yards, and they're just going to stop this running back taper out of the backfield for a tackle if they weren't so soft. But they're sitting at 5 yards to be able to defend that. Versus if I were to put like my flats on 25, it doesn't matter because they're not on the field. I have to make sure I have curl flats. So really putting your curl flats on 5 is going to do a great job of just stopping these underneath passes, quick throws just like that, easy breakup. Now you can also press Y and then right stick down to put hard flats. Again, I have them on default now. But if I set my zone drops to 25 yards and then put hard flats on the field, they're still going to drop to 25 yards. But again, because I have them on default, they're just going to play underneath just like this. So they really play very similar to a 5-yard curl flat, but it's really, you know, either or, kind of just how you feel. You could put hard flats or you could set your zone drops to 5 yards, but that's zone drops, what they do, and where you should use them. Alright, so if you found those first 2 defensive tips helpful here in Madden 26, make sure you go down below, hit that subscribe button. I break down Madden 26 tips and tricks to help you guys get better every single day, and you don't want to miss out on any of the content that I have. But if you want all 5 of these tips in written form to save on your phone so you can always reference them and pull them up during gameplay, and you never have to go surfing through a video, go to the link down below in the pinned comment to join Madden University, where your first month of all my written breakdowns are only going to be $1. I really recommend you check it out. It's really the best way to transform your understanding of this game, and please don't let $1 be the reason you're still struggling to win games here in Madden 26. Check it out today, and let's jump right back into the video. Because next I want to break down a defensive coverage that is absolutely killing your defense right now, but too many players don't actually understand why this is happening. Let me show you what I mean. Alright, so that defense that I'm going to be talking about here is going to be cover 2 invert, alright? So sometimes it's called cover 2 invert, and then sometimes it's not, right? But this nickel 2 trap play is an inverted cover 2 because you have, if you look at this player on the right side of your screen, right, this deep half, the corner is in the deep half. And the safety is going to be standing in the middle of the field and then rotating. Versus if you see this Tampa 2 drop, both of the safeties are already at the top and they're dropping back. So I'm going to show you why this is going to be hurting your defense very often when you call it. And it's just going to be because your guys are in the wrong spot. So look at what we have right here. So we're just going to, we have our safety rotating from the middle of the field. So you're just putting him in a bad spot. Because if they were to call a slot fade, for example, like they have a shriek and then a slot fade. Like this is a pretty good route concept, right? What you're going to notice is your safety is rotating from too far over. He's just going to have no chance to get there. Sometimes even if they don't have a shriek, he's just going to be out of position. Versus if you actually just have him standing in his spot, like if so, like some plays, some Tampa 2, or excuse me, some cover 2 invert, he's standing in the dead center of the field. So some of them he's like cheating over. But it's like, look how wide open this sideline area is. Like as soon as my slot fade runs over the top of this guy, this is just an easy pass lead out here because I have a guy rotating from the middle of the field. Versus if I were to just run a regular cover 2, not only, like, that's a play to beat cover 2. So don't get it mistaken, like that route concept can still beat cover 2, but it's not going to be as wide open. And the key difference is you still have an opportunity to switch stick early enough in the play to kind of like nullify the result or the negative effect. So now when we take the snap, I'm actually able to switch stick here and kind of play in between the two and take it away versus giving up the sideline as a wide open throw. And even on the other side too, it's like that safety is in a deep half, right? So on the left side. So it's like I could just really just call this play slot fade shriek and then just throw that pass out there on the sideline once our man continues running up the field. So it's like, bottom line here, this is kind of going to be a simple one, but stop calling cover 2 invert. Like you're just putting your deep safeties in a really bad position, especially because you're already in cover 2. The sideline is already going to be exposed, and if you're going to have to like move your safety over, which is kind of giving it up. Also, look at how more wide open the middle of the field is because your corner is the one that's dropping back there to the spot. So again, really, they could just call like a wheel route from the running back, a shriek route, and I mean, this is just going to be an easy pass lead inside for a score versus if your safety is standing there, he's just going to be able to come down and make a play. So really, I see too many players calling cover 2 invert, thinking they're calling regular cover 2, and they don't understand that they're putting this safety in a really bad spot, and they're also putting this corner in a bad spot because he basically has to defend the sideline and the seam, versus if he was standing more like right here, he would just be able to just follow this guy instead of just giving up, you know, an easy open pass right there. So make sure that you actually understand what your coverage is doing and where you're supposed to be. Alright, before I jump into those final 2 defensive tips that you're absolutely not going to want to miss, I wanted to remind you to go down below, hit that subscribe button. Again, I'm the only one right now breaking down Madden 26 tips and tricks to help you guys get better every single day here on YouTube, and you don't want to miss out on any of the videos I drop. So what are you thinking? Go down below, hit that subscribe button. It's literally free, and let's jump into those final 2 tips. Because that next one is going to be the best defense to stop the meta offense right now from halfback direct snap. Let me show you how to shut it down. Alright, so if we come here into nickel 3-3 cub, we call Mike blitz 0, alright? What we're going to see is we're playing against direct snap. So this run is already good. Like, you're just going to notice how they can get out to the edge, right? And they can, pick up big yards down the field. If you don't set the defense up correctly, they can beat you from, if you call this defense but you run it incorrectly, if you don't have the gap shoot for it, you can't stop the run in the backfield. You're going to basically be at the mercy of your opponent, all right? And how good their blocks are, how good their run stick is, and especially if you're playing mud with like freight train and, the speed boost meta, like it's just going to be a nightmare. So what you're going to have to do to stop it is you're going to shift your defensive line towards the running back. So if they were to flip their play, I would shift my D-line to the left. But here in this case, the running back's on the right side, so I'm going to just shift my D-line to the left, and then I'm going to stand basically in between the guard and the center right here. All right, you just really need to find the gap shoot that works best for you, because depending on what you have your heat seeker assist settings set to and your coaching adjustment, and your gameplay settings, that kind of determines how good your dive tackles are. But basically, the gap is going to be wide open for you, and that's what I mean where I'm saying it takes practice to actually get it down. But you see how that gap is just wide open for you to run through, and all you have to do is press X on Xbox or square on PlayStation to dive tackle him in the backfield and prevent him from being able to speed boost away from you. So again, stand 4 yards over the, in between the guard and the center here, boom, loop through, and then you're just going to see how that lane is going to be open. Now, they're going to try to speed boost away from you, or get into a tackle battle with you, which is why it's important to not dive too early, to really get under control and then make sure that you're really diving into his feet, because the game's gonna help you out. When you have defensive heat seeker assist on, it's not like you have to be exactly precise. If you're in his general vicinity, you're gonna just be able to cut his legs out. So again, loop around and then try to dive tackle him. Sometimes you miss the dive tackle, but then he just runs into someone else because there's nowhere else for him to go. But you're just taking away his best lane, which is just gonna be either bouncing it out to the edge or just cutting through this gap. So again, boom, and again, the earlier you dive, the less of an opportunity he has to speed boost away. Because, obviously the higher overall they are, right, the better agility, kind of physical attributes they have, the easier it's going to be for them to just be able to speed boost. But again, boom, dive tackle him, and that's what it is, where it's sometimes it's a tight window, you don't get to dive exactly, but this is going to be a very consistent way to just have a wide open gap to just run through and stop direct snap. So we go through it one last time. There we go again, dive tackle him. He has nowhere to go. But what you're going to say is, okay, BLT, I run that defense, I use this shell, but then they're just going to go inside zone. And that's fine, because the great thing is this same defensive alignment is going to stop inside zone too. You don't even have to do anything with your user. You could get fooled. Boom, I think it's direct snap. But what happens? There's going to be a flame icon over the head of that guy on the left side, that outside linebacker, 43. And so now what's going to happen is that they are just going to run in free, because there's a flame icon, which means he's just going to walk in free. So again, all you have to do, you can do the same thing. Just loop around, same thing. Where you just think it's direct snap, you go the wrong way, and they go the other way and fool you, but you're really not fooled, because the way that you have your defensive alignment shifted, you're also going to be able to stop inside zone. And the reality in this game is they can't move these flame icons, right? They can't remove a flame icon from a guy. At least I don't know how to, right? All you can do is add more flame icons to other guys. So, for example, what I mean by that is you shift your D-line. Right now, they go to inside zone, right? And so it's all about standing in the right spot, right? So now we have the flame icon. Well, now they can't remove a flame icon. They could add it to this man, right? And so now they change who the flame icon's on, and so now he comes in completely untouched. So it's someone's coming in free, and someone's just going to easily be able to just stop, whether it's inside zone or direct snap, really from the same defensive alignment. So again, if they call direct snap, all you have to do, loop around and just dive tackle him by pressing X on Xbox, square on PlayStation. And if they go to inside zone, it's really the same thing. Shift your D-line left, stand in the correct spot, loop around with your user, but then you're just going to have another man coming in complete untouched to stop the run in the backfield. But that fifth and final defensive tip that I want to break down is actually going to be how you can stop and contain mobile quarterbacks. Let me show you what I mean. Alright, so we're going to come into a regular 4-down lineman defensive set right here, just like, dime normal. And what you're going to notice is the defensive linemen, they're just going to struggle pretty mightily to actually contain the quarterback. Like, sometimes even, like, having contains that field will help you, but it's like, there's just going to be times where, like, fast quarterbacks, Jaden Daniels, Lamar Jackson, some other guys here, but they're just going to be able to break contain really easily. And this, I know, messes up a lot of you guys' defense, because once the quarterback breaks outside the pocket, it's pretty hard to contain him. So like I said, contains can work. I'm gonna put some contains on the field, but the reality is if the quarterback's faster than the contain, like, he can still kind of escape and then have room to throw, right? Maybe not Jaden Daniels, but Lamar Jackson certainly gonna be a guy. But then also when you contain the quarterback, you give up these lanes just up the middle a lot more often. So it's like, because your guys are kind of looping around, and then the quarterback, like a lot of quarterbacks, can just like cut through those gaps. Like, they double team here, and then we're just there to roll out. So really, even, quarterback contain can help you contain the edge. Really, a smart offensive player who wants to roll out is still going to find ways to do that. So what we're going to do is we're going to come into dime 2-3 Sam right here, and we're going to call it DB Fire 2, right? We're going to call DB Fire 2. We're going to have them call whatever play, and then we're going to press RB twice to show blitz, and then we're going to press RB and then LB to quarterback contain. Now, if you want to put this other slot corner in some sort of zone assignment, you could certainly do that here, but you just want to make sure that you still have that contain over there on the right side, just like this, because what you're going to notice is it's going to be way harder for him to break contain when you actually have your slot corner as the man of the contain versus when you just have your defensive lineman in the contain, because this guy's actually wider, so he's taking a wider angle, and so that's just going to make it a lot easier for him to get, hold his contain, right? So again, quarterback contain, prevent them from being able to roll out. When they do, they're going to realize they can't try to turn around, and then it's already going to be too late. So too many of you guys are relying on those 4-down lineman defensive sets to be able to contain the quarterback, when in reality, if you just come into a slot corner blitz, where now you're going to have the slot corner in the contain, you're going to force him to become a pocket passer, and then sometimes this slot corner even comes in completely untouched. So again, boom, you take it. There's going to be like right here where he just comes in completely untouched because they're rolling out too fast. But the last thing that I will say is that you want to also make sure that when the quarterback rolls out, if he does ever break contain, then you want to make sure that you're just sending your spy. So what we're going to do right here is we are going to take the snap, try to roll out, and then just send the spy by pressing the right stick. And now you're going to see how, I'm holding 2 controllers, so this is really hard to do. But it's like the nearest defender actually goes and gets the quarterback. Right, so you're going to notice how the nearest defender is going to go get the quarterback. I'll do it again right here, where again, boom, show blitz, put that man into, a quarterback spy right here, and then we are going to take the snap and then just send the spy, where now he goes and gets the quarterback, and he's going to be able to, if they roll out, do a much better job. Again, I'm holding 2 controllers, so it's hard to see, but when he starts rolling out is when you really want to just press the right stick in on defense. It'll send the nearest defender, whether it's a linebacker, a slot corner, an outside corner, and then that's going to help you to be able to contain the quarterback a lot better. So regardless, you want to make sure that you either have your slot corner in the contain, and then if he does break contain, you want to make sure you're sending the nearest defender by clicking the right stick. But honestly, like I showed you earlier, this defense is going to do a great job of containing the quarterback because it's your slot corner who's just at a wider angle. Alright, so if you found those 5 defensive tips helpful here in Madden 26, you're going to take them to your next game and start locking down with them. Make sure you go down below, hit that subscribe button. Again, I break down Madden 26 tips and tricks to help you guys get better every single day. You don't want to miss out on any of the content that I have. But if you want all 5 of these tips, like I said earlier, in written form to save on your phone so you never have to go surf into a video to learn how to stop direct snap or what zone drops do, go to the link down below in the pinned comment to join Madden University, where your first month is only going to be $1. I highly recommend you check it out. It's going to completely transform your understanding of this game, and it's going to help you start to win more games. But if you want to see 5 tips to transform your offense here in Madden 26, give you both sides of the ball, check out this video right here. I'll see you over there. Peace.